Valentine's Day was barely 4 or 5 days ago. It's typically a day of grand gestures. In casino marketing, days like this often translates into bigger giveaways, louder promotions, and a calendar packed with reasons to come in this weekend. And yes, those things can absolutely drive trips. But as a brand marketer, the question on my mind is always less about how big of a promotion I can create and more about whether I'm building loyalty or just buying visits. Because busy isn't the same as bonded. A redemption spike isn't the same as preference. And if your customers only show up when the incentive is strong enough, that's not loyalty. Welcome to Drive Time Marketing. Hi there, and welcome back to Drive Time Marketing, the show where we help casino marketers turn strategy into action and insights into impact. I'm Julia Carcamo, and in today's episode, we're talking about what it really means to have brand love. Regional casino marketers feel the pressure of brand love the most. Guests have more choices, less patience, and a shorter memory. They'll absolutely date around if your experience feels generic. You're operating with lean teams, tight budgets, and when competition gets noisy, the quickest lever is almost always the same: increase the offer. Over time, that teaches your guests a dangerous habit: wait for the next deal instead of choosing you because they want you. So, what does real loyalty look like? Well, it looks like guests who come back even when the offer is average. Guests who bring friends, guests who defend you when someone says we should go somewhere else. Guests who choose you because of how your brand makes them feel, not just what your reinvestment buys them. The audit I'm going to share with you today is something you can do in 10 minutes. I'm going to share 5 warning signs with you. If you recognize your property in 2 or more of these, don't panic, but treat it like a flashing dashboard light. You've got a loyalty leak, but the good news is that most of these leaks can be patched fast without rebuilding your entire strategy. And if you want the full framework behind the fixes, you might want to read my companion post, How Brand Love Creates Loyalty, and also How to Build It with a Brand Ladder. I'll include those links in the show notes. But here are the 5 warning signs that you're buying visits instead of building loyalty. First, your ads emphasize promotions more than experiences. If your marketing is mostly what you get instead of how it feels, you're training guests to chase value and compare you like a price tag. I see this happening when creative leads with free play, multipliers, kiosk gifts, and drawings, and rarely leads with a promise. Or when the copy changes every week, but the emotional message stays vague, like fun or excitement or something for everyone. I also see it when your competitors' offers influence your strategy more than your own brand point of view. Or when your best performing campaigns are the ones with the biggest incentive and the drop off is sharp when the incentive drops. You may be winning the week, but you're still losing long-term preference. Now, the second sign is when staff and stakeholders struggle to describe your brand in one sentence. If your team can't articulate what makes your casino special, your guests can't either. And we do this a lot when we say we're friendly, and it's the most common descriptions, but it's also your competitors. When different departments describe the brand differently and none of them match the marketing. Or when your casino's personality changes depending on who's creating the ad or writing the email or running the event. Or when you rely on amenities to explain your identity rather than what guests feel when they're with you. When your brand is unclear internally, loyalty can't form externally. Sign number 3 is when guests refer to you by a single feature, like the one with the indoor pool. When an amenity defines you more than emotion, you're vulnerable. Features are going to be copyable. Feelings are harder to replicate. When your guests describe you by one thing, it isn't a relationship, and your differentiator can disappear the moment a competitor adds a similar feature. Think about if your social comments and reviews focus on stuff rather than identity, such things like clean rooms and good food and nice staff, but not belonging. And your reason to return isn't obvious unless you attach an offer. You're at risk of being replaced by the next new thing or the next bigger offer. The fourth sign is that your brand experience isn't consistent, so love can't stick. Brand love requires trust, and trust requires consistency. If the guest experience depends on the day, the shift, the event, or the mood of the moment, love never has a chance. So look for these tells. Your ads promise one thing, but your property feels like something else. You run strong promotions, but operational friction ruins the memory. Things like lines, confusion, unclear rules, and inconsistent service. Or when your visuals and messaging shift constantly based on who's producing the creative, or your social voice feels different than your email voice. Your events feel like random entertainment instead of you on purpose. This is why this is a problem. Guests don't remember your EBITDA, and they can't bond with a brand they can't predict. They remember how it felt. And if the feeling is inconsistent, the brand becomes fine. Fine doesn't create loyalty. A casino with a strong brand doesn't just create events, it creates identity, a place guests recognize, anticipate, and defend. After the break, I'm going to share the fifth warning sign, how to score your audit, and I'm going to share a 7-day fix for you. Quick break. Because if you're a casino marketer wearing 10 hats, you don't need more noise. You need a plan that works. And if you're a GM or VP asking, is training even worth it right now? The truth is, in a competitive market, better marketing decisions save you time, budget, and protect your revenue. Casino Marketing Bootcamp is a small room, hands-on training built for regional and tribal casinos. Less sitting, more doing, more coaching, and more take-home tools your team can use immediately. And the proof is in the feedback, because across years of events, about 98% of attendees say they'd recommend it, and over 80% put it in their top tier. If you want your team sharper, faster, and more confident this year, go to casinomarketingbootcamp.com. Oh, and seats are limited by design because small rooms are going to transform your marketing. If you've been thinking about it, now's the time to lock in your seats. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about brand love and 4 of the 5 warning signs that you're buying visits instead of loyalty. As a reminder, the first 4 signs were that your ads are all about promotions, the staff and stakeholders can't really describe your brand, guests referring to your brand in terms of features, and also inconsistent experiences. The 5th warning sign is that your loyalty program is mostly a rebate program and it feels transactional. If your loyalty program acknowledges points but not people, you're missing your biggest opportunity, making guests feel recognized. If your loyalty proposition feels like play more, get more without emotional payoff, you're operating points and perks machines, not a brand that guests choose. Things like your program is built entirely around earn and burn. The tier movement is math and not meaning. Your tiers don't feel different, only the offers do. Most benefits might be math-based, like points, comps, and free play, rather than moment-based, like recognition, access, and delight. Benefits feel like rebates, not moments. Another tell is when your communications focus on what you earn more than who you are to us, or when guests can't describe why your program is special without referencing dollars. Also, when you rarely create I feel taken care of moments outside your VIP top tier. This is a problem because rebates don't create devotion, they create expectations. And expectations rise faster than reinvestment budgets. Brand love shows up when guests feel recognized, not just tracked. Proud, not just rewarded, and emotionally safe because they know what to expect and how they'll feel. Now that you've gone through the warning signs, let's take a score of your audit. If you scored a 0 or a 1, you're building something real. So you're going to want to protect it and formalize it. Now, if you notice 2 or 3 signs, you have loyalty potential, but you're leaking it through habit and structure. 4 to 5 signs, you're likely funding visits and not forming attachment. But the fix is absolutely doable, but it requires decisions, not just more campaigns. If you check 2 or more, I've got a 7-day fix for you that I think you'll like. This is not about a rebrand. This is not a 6-month committee project. It's a 7-day reset designed for lean teams that creates clarity and momentum fast. Now, let's start with step 1, your first 2 days. I want you to define the feeling you want to own. If love is the outcome, clarity is going to be your path. Your guests won't feel something you haven't intentionally defined. Your brand can't be fun or exciting or friendly or something for everyone. That's not a brand. That's going to be a brochure. So day 1, I want you to define your brand love promise. Answer these in plain language, no corporate poetry. When guests leave, what should they say about us to a friend? What should they feel here that they don't feel like competitors? And what do we want to be famous for in our market? Now, when you've got those answers, I want you to tighten it into one sentence. We are the place where, so for examples, where locals feel known, where fun feels effortless, and where your night out feels like a tradition. Now, for day 2, I want you to create 3 proof points. For your promise to be believable, you need evidence guests can feel. And I have 3 different types of proof points I want you to think about. Proof point number 1 is experience, a moment or touch point guests consistently notice. Proof point number 2 is people, how service or recognition shows up in a specific, repeatable way. And proof 3 are your perks, one benefit that feels emotionally rewarding, not just financially useful. If your proof points are all we give them stuff, you're not building love, you're going to be building dependency. Now, for days 3 through 5, I want you to turn one promotion or event into a brand moment. You don't need to cancel the calendar. You need to stop letting the calendar lead you. So pick one upcoming promotion or event, preferably one you already know is going to perform, and keep the mechanic, but upgrade the meaning. On day number 3, you rewrite that promotion or event through the lens of identity. Before you write the subject line or create an ad, you answer this. Who is this for, really? What emotion are we reinforcing? Is it belonging, pride, escape, celebration? Or what does participation say about the attendee? Then write your headline to match. For instance, typical headlines might say, swipe on Valentine's Day for a gift. That's transactional. An emotional one might be, a little love for guests who make this place feel like home. Now on day 4, I want you to add one love building element. Choose a single element you can repeat. A recognition moment, welcome by name, a thank you card, or a we're glad you're here ritual. It could be a status moment, early access, reserved seating, members only check-in in the hour in advance. It could be a story moment, connect to local pride, tradition, or community identity. Or it could be a ritual moment, something guests anticipate and look forward to monthly or seasonally. Now for day 5, I want you to fix your friction. Most loyalty leaks aren't strategic, they're operational. Confusing rules, long lines, bad or unclear signage, employees not being briefed, chaos, and inconsistent service energy. I want you to pick 2 friction points and eliminate them. Then brief frontline teams with one simple line. Here's what we want guests to feel today. That single sentence aligns the experience faster than a 40-slide brand deck. Now, step 3 are your 6th and 7th days. You're going to build a return without a bribe pathway. If guests need a strong offer to come back, you don't have retention, you just have a cycle of dependency. So on day 6, I want you to create a 2-touch follow-up that isn't an offer. After the promotion or event, I want you to send something that reinforces your identity. Touch number 1 happens the next day. Thanks for being here, plus a highlight moment, such as a photo or a recap or community note. Touch number 2 happens 3 to 5 days later. Here's what's next, framed as an experience, not discount or urgency. Now, day number 7, you're going to choose one segment to nurture like VIP, but without VIP costs. I want you to pick your core or mid-tier segment and implement one upgrade. That could be a consistent welcome, a members only line or express option, even if it's limited hours, a monthly recognition moment, a first name feel in a messaging. That is not just inserting first name. That's actually sending a message that the recipient feels like you know them. Or a simple, we saved you a spot treatment for one recurring event. The goal is to create belonging at scale. Now, this audit works best when it becomes a conversation, not a critique. So I want you to share it with your team and ask, where are we buying visits because it's easy? Where are we building loyalty because it's intentional? Which one change could make our brand feel more us within 30 days? Because loyalty isn't built by one promotion, it's built by the pattern guests come to trust. Now, if you want a quick tool, I have a free brand ladder worksheet, and I'm going to include the link in the show notes so that you can download it. Thanks for joining me on this week's edition of Drive Time Marketing.